Welcome back to the Ciclamino circuit at Arco di Trento in the Trentino region. This is the Trentino Grand Prix. My name's Paul Malin. We've got a stacked field here and a full house inside this natural auditorium that is the Motocross Grand Prix here of Trentino. Round 4 of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. Saw a great MX2 race earlier on, and they're down on the line as we speak, getting ready to come under starters orders from our race director, Dave Nicholl. So sit back, enjoy these wonderful images and beautiful landscapes. The calm before the storm, before race 2. Well, a moment ago, the riders did go out on their sighting lap. They came through the Monster Energy platform. Welcome to the crowd. There was Tixier, Colden, Hoff, Dean Ferris, and the rest of the guys. But they're now all safely back down onto the start line. They're getting ready to go racing here for race 2, MX2. I'm looking out of my window. I can see Dave Nicholl, our race director. He's just down there. The riders are about to make their way onto the start line themselves. So before they actually do pick their gates, let's just recap what happened in Moto number 1. It was another victory for Jeffrey Hurlings. These are the qualifying race. This is how the riders line up to the grid in just a moment. But Jeffrey Hurlings didn't make a good start. He was buried inside the mid-pack, but came round 8th on the first lap and gradually picked his way through. He hit a stumbling block in the form of Jose Boutron for about 4 laps after finding a way past Jake Nichols, but then Boutron made a mistake, overcooked it going into a corner, ran wide, and that opened the door for Hurlings, and he didn't need a second invite. So Hurlings then eventually closed in on Charlie 8, got into second, and then passed his teammate. Seems to be making a habit of that, does Jeffrey Hurlings. Happened twice in Valkenswaard 2 weekends ago, but for the last 5 laps, Jeffrey Hurlings brought it home. The number 84 Red Bull KTM picked up another 25 points. He's undefeated so far in 2013. Tixier was a fine second. Charlier from Monster Energy Yamaha was third, ahead of the Wilvona Star and JM Racing KTM of Jake Nichols. Glenn Koldenoff came from 17th to 5th. But ride of the day for me, Alessandro Lupino down on the first turn, got back to 16th, and that delighted the home fans massively. So they're looking for a repeat performance, albeit without going down on the deck at turn 1. The Monster Energy board goes to 5. Evan Habe up the inside there, 112 on the Scott Racing KTM. An itchy finger there from Ivan Monticelli. Jake Nichols getting a good start at the inside, but it's Boutron who gets the award. Oh, and everybody runs wide at turn 1. Oh, we've got riders going down, going into turn 2 as well. Who's that? Is that Kulas, maybe? It's a KTM runner. Is it Hurlings? Not quite sure, but no, it's Kulas. Kulas down. I was just looking out of that window. But Boutron on the Silver Action KTM storms into the lead, but Christophe Charlier, our onboard camera, you can see a little bit of water gone down on the track in the break, but making a break for it. Boutron, Ferris, Charlier or Pocock, then Nichols, I think there. Hurlings, nowhere to be seen. That's his teammate. So Hurlings, again, 16th over the finish line jump, coming out of turn 2. So he's got a lot of work to do. You heard him after Moto number 1 saying that he doesn't know what the problem is. Maybe it's bike setup or something like that, but just not able to get that bike out of the start. And again, suffering as a result, but already there in the background, you can see him starting to make inroads as Maxime Dupre, 141, loses the front end of that Monster Energy Yamaha. Keeps it up on 2 wheels, though. Don't want to be making a mistake this early in the race. But Boutron leads it. Number 17, Silver Action KTM. Dean Ferris in second position. Monster Energy Yamaha, 111, the Australian. Started the season with second overall in Qatar. Thailand, he was still well placed in third, but then a broken collarbone before Valkenswaard kept him out of that one. So he's dropped down in the championship as a result. He would love to get back up the leaderboard this weekend here with a decent result in the second moto. Moto number 1 wasn't so good for him. He went down on the first turn, did Dean Ferris, and eventually finished down in 31st position. But Jimmy Dakotas not getting a good jump. Looking over to the left, 141 Dupre, but look at that. Boutron just giving himself enough room. Nothing wrong. Oh, that's right. Hurling's hitting the gate. You're saying nothing wrong with the reaction, but just a little bit too close to the gate. He barely moved and the gate fell on him. So Hurling's then right at the back. And he's 16 as he comes over the line. Right, Harry Koulas here, just in front of our onboard camera. Oh, goes down hard. Charlier couldn't do anything to avoid his former teammate. So over the line for the first time then, Jose Boutron continues to lead. That's him in the bottom right-hand corner now. Dean Ferris, 111, is second. Third is 45, Jake Nichols on the Wilbona Star and JM Racing KTM. Maxime Dupre is in fourth. Jordi Tixier fifth. Tim Geiser is sixth. Hurlings is seventh. Koldenoff eighth. Mel Pocock in ninth place. Then we've got Alex Lupino, Evan Habe in 11th. Chris Charlier 12th. Jimmy Dakotas 13th. Jeremy Sewer 14th. Dylan Ferrandis 15th. Ivo Monticelli is in 16th. Look at the water on the downside of that jump. No one ticking that line at the moment. Very, very slick on the landing there. Monticelli 16th, Stefan Olsen 17th on the JTEC Honda. 18th is Max Anstey, Rockstar Energy Suzuki. 19th, Sevlov Brylyakov, the number 210. Brylyakov riding the Garibaldi Honda. And then Lieber on the second of the Rockstar Energy Suzukis. He's just inside the points in 20th position, but Harry Koulas right at the back. Unfortunately for him, Petr Petrov down in 22nd position, so he's going to have to put on a bit of a monster charge to get himself near towards the front end of the field in this second moto. He had a great ride in moto number 1, coming from outside the top 20 to finish in 9th place. So strong at the end of the moto was Petr Petrov on the Kimi Raytec Vanderlaat Yamaha. Got to do it all over again though here. Jake Nichols going after 111, Dean Ferris. So Nichols certainly buzzing at the moment. So Nichols, he's in third place, but look how close he is to Dean Ferris in second position. Could have himself a sniff at winning a moto here. Could Jake Nichols? Oh! He goes down. It was a mistake from Ferris. And he just ran into the rear wheel. And Jake Nichols, wow, what a moment. Hopefully that doesn't cost him too much time, but look at that. The 2 KTMs have gone by, and they include Tixier and Hurlings. So Jake Nichols, very, very unlucky. Let's see it, look at it from a different camera angle, I hope. Because Hurlings now looking to go around Maxime Dupre. So Boutron leads, Ferris second, Tixier third, Maxime Dupre fourth. He's in the inside now in the white. And then around the outside of him, Jeffrey Hurlings on the Rebel KTM, moving up on the left-hand side around the Frenchman. So Hurlings, he's in 5th place. Nichols in 6th position. So Jake Nichols, how unlucky. There's Hurlings, making the most of that bad start, clearly. Down the inside, hand on the gas, clutch in, panic rev. 141 has no option but just to move aside. Of course, that's Maxime Dupre, but Hurlings much higher placed at this part of the race than he was the same race earlier on, or the same point of the race earlier on in moto number 1, because after 2 laps complete, Hurlings was down. Watch this. I think Ferris just gets a back-end slide and then it just swaps right into the view. I'll tell you what, Jake Nichols going down on that right side, very lucky not to land on a collarbone there. Christophe Charlier just behind Alessandro Lupino. Lupino on the CLS Monster Energy Kawasaki Pro Circuit there, number 300, the Italian, already in 10th place, just ahead of them. Glenn Koldenoff on the Standing Construct KTM, although I think he's found a way past Tim Geiser. Ooh, horrible water patch just there, and on the downside at the start of the waves. Look at that, the amount of water. Well, that's me, plain ridiculous, but there you go. Right where you don't need it, hard and slick through there on the curve. As Hurlings down the inside of his teammate, Tixier takes 3rd place. So fastest man on track was, briefly, Jose Butron with a 2:02.158, but Ferris second, Hurlings third, 2 minute dead, 0.9. 2 seconds quicker than his teammate. Oh, just off the side of the bike there, almost the rear end of that Red Bull KTM, getting out of shape, Jeffrey Hurlings. There's Jake Nichols and the 141, Maxime Dupre. They are 5th and 6th at the moment. Mel Pocock is in 7th position. Koldenhoff 8, Geyser 9, Lupino 10, Charlier 11, Jimmy Dakota's 12th, Jeremy Sewer 13th, Dylan Ferrandis 14th, Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. Evan Habe, Scott Racing KTM is 15th. As we look at Tim Geyser in the orange, coming under attack from 23, Christophe Charlier, who's found a way past the 300 of Alessandro Lupino on that green Kawasaki. So Charlier on the charge, oh, down the inside, almost landing into the side of 243, Tim Geyser. Geyser's got his radar on there, moves to the right, Charlier moves to the left. Will he get the job done here? Not quite. Nice line there from Charlier, though, not going into the deep rut. But look at the ruts through that section, through the waves. Horrible ruts there. Bricks and lines and bumps, all sorts thrown up in there in the riders' faces. But dropping downhill over the jump, hard into the braking zone through that off-cambered. Doesn't look it there, but it is. Then into the waves, and then stepping back up into this left-hander. Charlier down inside of Geyser. Great move for the Frenchman on the Monster Energy Yamaha. So he now moves up into 9th place. Lupino goes through as well. Crowd will love that because he got a standing ovation at the end of the first race, coming right off the crash at the first turn. To 16th, Lupino in moto number 1. So Tim Geyser then, a little bit of training for him in preparation for his European 250 campaign. Doesn't want to be where he's not wanted to be, but there's Jimmy Dakotas, 613. Got Dylan Ferrandis going up the inside and through, it would appear. Yes, so Ferrandis going through on Dakotas. So Dakotas 12th on the previous lap. See where he is now as he comes through. Butron, Ferris, Hurlings, Tixier, Nichols, they top 5. Then we've got Dupre, Pocock, Koldenhoff, Charlier, Lupino, Geyser, Ferrandis 12th, Dakotas 13th now. Then it's Jeremy Sewer 14th. Evan Habe 15th. Max Anstey up into the points now. Well in points in 16th. Ivo Monticelli 17th. Stefan Olsen 18th. Lieber 19th. Sevlov Brylyakov, he's in 20th. But we're on board with Charlier fighting through hard in 9th. Mel Pocock, Monster Energy Yamaha 119, finds himself in 7th position at the moment, trying to go after his younger teammate, guy that he pushed all the way, or that pushed him all the way to the European Championship title actually last year. Maxime Dupre, of course, he was a Kawasaki rider back then, but riding for Steve Dixon now at Monster Energy Yamaha. There's Charlier from the Italian side of the Monster Energy Yamaha squad, pushing on in 9th place. There's Ferris, still there in 2nd position. The lead rider in that Yamaha group. But still trying to find a way past number 17, Jose Butron. Butron, always good at starting, but stick him at the front. He'll make it just an extra bit difficult. Don't see the point in that there, but there you go. Too much water on that point of the circuit, but there you go. Ferris drops into one of the deep ruts as Butron gets urged on by his pit crew. Down past pit lane, rejoining at turn 1, but here's Hurlings all over the back of the Australian now. Tixier's teammate is how far behind Hurlings? Well, Hurlings has done a good job there because Tixier now 4 seconds further back in 4th position. Then we've got Jake Nichols about 3 seconds further down. Remember, he fell when he collected the rear wheel of Dean Ferris as they stepped out of turn 1 up in towards turn 2. Nice line there from Hurlings, railing the berm, doesn't want to get caught in any of those deep ruts. Looks quick, but not necessarily the case. Opting for the inside at the top of the hill there this time, though. Ferris is a little bit closer this time around. Still the fastest man on track, though, and the fastest lap of the race. 2 minutes dead, 0.403 for Jeffrey Hurlings. Ferris setting his fastest lap of the race, a 2:01.697 compared to the 2:02.1 of Butron ahead of him. So Ferris right where he wants to be. All over the back of the Spaniard. difficult part of the circuit. Over here you can see how hard, slaty, rocky, holy, bumpy, loose, off-cambered, slick, you name it. Then they go and stick water on it as well, just to keep the dust down a little bit. These riders really having to face a stiff challenge and a bit of a test this weekend, as Jimmy Decotis now in 15th position will assess to, because never ridden anything like this before, coming from the States just a week or so ago. Did a bit of riding in Holland before he came here. Again, not the ideal preparation, as Ferris now coming under the cosh from Hurlings on that orange KTM. Scrubbing it low, Ferris takes a look over his shoulder. The inevitable here. Tries to square him off. Oh, gets a horrible kick there, does Ferris. He was looking to square off the Dutch rider and go back up the inside, but it was easy in the end for 84 Jeffrey Hurlings, who now has Jose Boutron right in his sights. And he's looking a little bit more serious this time about going racing, is Jeffrey Hurlings, despite hitting the gate at the start. So Hurlings then going after Boutron. Ferris third now. Tixier still fourth, about 6 seconds. 6 seconds further back. So the front three guys making a bit of a push at it. You'll see Tixier dropping downhill now. He's got a nice little gap, 3 seconds over Jake Nichols. Nichols in 5th place. Maxime Dupre still 6th, heading off his teammate Mel Pocock in 7th. Glenn Koldenoff standing construct. KTM now in 8th place. Charlier still 9th. Lupino still 10th. Ferrandis up to 11th, having found a way past Tim Geiser, who's now 12th. Sewa is 13th. Anstey 14th. Jimmy Decotis 15th. Evan Habe, Monticelli, Stefan Olsen 18th. Julian Lieber 19th. And Sevlov Brilyakov in 20th position. Anybody outside the points it shouldn't be. Harry Kulas working his way up. He's now 27th. Petr Petrov still down in 22nd position for him. I thought he would have got a charge on early on, despite a bad start, but maybe conditions, the water that's gone down, not opening the track up as much as it normally would do. Maybe there's just a very distinct drying line at the moment. Boutron, though, continues to lead, number 17. As Hurlings goes in pursuit. Up on the pegs, high and wide around the bottom of the turn. Look at the yards he pulled back on Boutron there. Hasn't got to risk it here. Going to make his move at the bottom of the hill. Takes another look back, and he goes through. Jumping his way downhill into the bottom hill, into the bottom hairpin. Gets on the gas, and on lap 7, Jeffrey Hurlings takes the lead. So he's taken half the time to get to the front that it did in moto number 1, when it was his teammate Jordi Tixier that was leading for 15 laps. 7 laps complete, and look at that, fastest lap of the race again, and 1 minute 59.8. So the only guy going under the 2:02s even in this race right now on that lap. So Hurlings really is on a mission. Christophe Charlier coming out of the very tricky finish corner over the Monster Energy finish line jump, stepping up into the right-hander. He's got Glenn Koldenoff, 259, just ahead of him on the standing construct KTM. There he is in the white back top. Maxime Dupre on the blue Yamaha just ahead of them. And Pocock has lost a little bit of ground. He's down in 9th place. And just behind him, at the bottom of the hill there, Alessandro Lupino on the green Kawasaki, the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Lupino would love to get, not just, I mean, he's 10th now, but would love to get inside the top 10, just to give his loyal supporters something to cheer about. He had them on their feet in their thousands, literally tens of thousands here this weekend. Not so much over this side in terms of fans, but in fact, no fans over this side. Everybody over the other side of the circuit as Koldenoff looks to go up the inside of 141. Dupre round the outside now, switching the lines up, staying out of the big holes and the big deep ruts is Koldenoff. Proper riders circuit here this weekend at Arco di Trento, right in the middle of the Sarka Valley. The border of Switzerland and Austria just to the north of here. We've got Milan southwest, Venice southeast, but not on a steep line, but just enough. Wow, good onboard action there from Christophe Charlier. He opted to double his way through that wave section at the top of the hill. Scrubbing his way through. He's got Coldenhoff to the outside of him. Oh, and nicely around the outside. Coldenhoff on Maxime Dupre. Dupre thought he got it covered, holding a nice tight line, but the KTM just out-dragging the Yamaha back into turn 1. Easy on the gas coming out of that final corner. And then up into turn 3. Charlier looking for a way up the inside and finds one. So Charlier suddenly finding a way past Maxime Dupre, now goes into 7th position. Through the left, dropping back down into the main arena. Look how the rocks are just crowning there, poking their way out of the ground. Riders looking for every little bit of traction. Lupino's found a way past Mel Pocock. That's him here on the green Kawasaki, number 300. So Lupino now in 9th place. So that's happened since they came over the finish line jump about a third of a lap ago. And Alessandro Lupino in the green on that 300 Kawasaki going after Maxime Dupre, who just dropped into the corner below our camera position here. Mel Pocock not getting a smooth line through that left-hander. He's got Dylan Ferrandis closing in on him as well, the 122. On the Bud Rockstar Racing Kawasaki. Thought this would have been right up Dylan Ferrandis' street as soon as I came here on Thursday. Thought he would be a guy that would be capable of getting a top 5 overall this weekend, but maybe just needs a little bit more time on the bike after that leg injury at Faenza. Back in the last year, who's that gone down? Was that Maxime Dupre? It was Dupre. So Dupre up and running again. So Dupre losing out to Christophe Charlier, Mel Pocock, Alessandro Lupino, and just there at the bottom of the hill, Dylan Ferrandis. So going down to 11th place now. The next guy right behind him as he comes over the jump is number 14, Rockstar Energy, Suzuki Europe MX2 rider. Max Anstey there on the left, scrubbing neatly off the top of the hill there, and dives down the inside, and Dupre is all over the place now, just finding it hard to regroup and get his focus back after that fall just a moment ago. Going down the inside of Anstey, though. Not going to take no for an answer, is he? The young, talented French starlet. So over the line then. 9 laps complete. Jeffrey Hurling's 5 seconds clear of Jose Boutron. Dean Ferris is 3rd. Jordi Tixier 4th. Jake Nichols 5th. Glenn Coldenhoff 6th. Charlier 7th. Lupino 8th. Pocock 9. Ferrandis 10. Max Anstey now in 11th position with Dupre 12, Siwa 13th, Evan Habe 14th, Monticelli is 15th place. And then we've got Lieber, Olsen, Chervelin, Petrov now in the points in 19th on the Kimi Ratek, Vanderlei Yamaha, and then Pascal Rauschnecker, number 76 on the standing construct. KTM finds himself the final point scorer at the moment. There's Charlier going after Glenn Coldenhoff. That's what's in it between those two. Coldenhoff 259 in 6th position. How far is he behind Nichols? Ooh, 7 seconds. So Nichols in control at the moment. And how far is he behind Tixier? 3 seconds, Jake Nichols. So could have a chance at getting 4th position. Obviously, in terms of the overall Grand Prix at the moment, Jeffrey Hurlings would pick up potential overall Grand Prix with a double race win. That would make it 8 wins out of 8 for the defending champion. Tixier would pick up 2nd at the moment with a 2nd and a 4th. I think Jose Boutron might just be edging out Jake Nichols at the moment in terms of overall podiums here. So could be a couple of points, maybe 2 or 3 points in it between Boutron and Nichols. So Boutron, if he loses a position here to Dean Ferris, that will pull a couple of points back, but he can't afford to drop too much further back, can Jose Boutron. But he's doing a great job hanging it out there in 2nd on the Silver Action KTM at the moment. But we're getting ready to go down to pit lane. Dean Ferris, though, looking good in 3rd at the moment. Here's pit lane.
I'm in the pit lane with Steve Dixon. Dean Ferris back from injury this week on that collarbone he picked up a few weeks ago. Putting in a good performance in qualifying.